Have you ever tried to reason with someone mid-rage? It's like talking to a volcano right before it erupts. Seneca, the Roman philosopher, once said, "Anger is a brief madness." So how do you deal with someone in the grip of madness without losing your mind? Let's talk about it. You're at work, or maybe it's a family dinner. A tense moment bubbles up and boom, someone explodes. They're yelling, eyes wide, arms flying. You try to stay calm, but inside you're clenched, your heart's racing. Part of you wants to fight back, another part wants to disappear. It's always the same. Their anger takes over the room, and now you have to deal with it. We all know a hot head, a friend, a boss, a partner. Maybe sometimes it's us, most of us think. The goal is to calm the angry person down. We try to be logical. We try to explain, soothe, or even argue better. But here's the trap. You're playing chess with someone who's flipping the board. Seneca saw this clearly. 2,000 years ago, he didn't say argue smarter. He said the best cure for anger is delay. That's it. Not more clever words, not dominance, not fixing them. Just wait, but delay feels weak, doesn't it? Like we're giving in, letting them win. Here's the twist, trying to fight. Anger with reason is like throwing dry leaves at a wildfire. It's not just useless, it feeds the flame. Because what we think is the problem, the angry person is just the surface. The deeper issue is this: we think their anger is ours to fix. Seneca said no plague has cost the human race more dear. He's not talking about war or disease, he's talking about anger. Seneca wrote an entire essay called On Anger, and it wasn't just theory. He advised Roman emperors. He saw what rage did to people with power, but he wasn't interested in them. He was interested in you and me, the everyday person trying to survive emotional storms without getting pulled under. He says anger always comes back to this, a desire to punish. Think about that. When someone is raging, they're not just venting. They want someone to pay to feel it, to suffer like they are, even if it's you, even if it's unfair. So what does Seneca tell us to do? He tells us to stop expecting reason from an unreasonable person. He says it is easier to stem the torrent at the source than to quiet it when it has gathered force. In other words, stop it before it starts. And if it's already started, don't step into the flood. Here's a real-life example. You're in the middle of a heated meeting. Someone accuses you of messing up a project. You didn't, but their voice is rising. You want to defend yourself. You want justice. Seneca would say not yet. Instead, pause, delay, breathe once, twice. Let the rage pass like a wave you don't dive into. Then when the heat dies down, you can speak, not from defense, from clarity. Because if you react in the moment, your brain's not in charge, your pride is. And pride is what the hot head wants to trigger. Anger is a short madness, Seneca says, but if you respond to it, it becomes contagious madness. You don't stop a hot head by cooling them down. You stop them by staying cool. It is as foolish to be angry as it is to be afraid. That hits different, right? We usually treat anger like power, like it makes us strong, intimidating, and control. But Seneca's saying it's actually fear in disguise. Fear of being disrespected, fear of losing control, fear of looking weak. So when someone flies off the handle, Seneca wouldn't see a powerful person. He'd see a frightened one, a real-life example. You're texting your partner, they read your message and don't reply. Hours go by. When you finally talk, they explode. You always ignore me. You don't care. You make me feel invisible. You might want to match their energy, defend yourself, prove them wrong, but pause. That anger, it's not about the text. It's about fear of being unimportant, of being abandoned. Seneca would say, don't take it personally. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. The angry person isn't in the present moment. They're in a movie playing in their head, and in that movie, you're the villain. Your job. Don't audition for the part. Here's a question worth asking. What if the angrier someone is, the more fragile they feel inside? We're taught to react to volume, but maybe we should be listening for the wound underneath. That's not weakness, that's strategy. Because when you stop seeing a hothead as a threat and start seeing them as someone scared, you stay grounded. And when you're grounded, you're untouchable. Anger masks fear. Don't fight the mask. Understand the furnace. Let's go deeper. Seneca said something most people today would completely disagree with. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Okay, what's that got to do with dealing with angry people more than you'd think? Here's the connection. Angry people aren't just reacting, they're expecting. They expect others to follow their rules, their tempo, their values. When reality doesn't play along, they explode. No man is made unhappy by another's fault unless he has made it his own. This quote should be printed on every office wall and dinner table. You're not responsible for someone else's temper. Their bad mood isn't your assignment. But, and this is the twist, if you expect them to behave differently, you've just set a trap for yourself. You might be wondering, so am I supposed to just accept toxic behavior? No, that's not what Seneca's saying. He's saying expect it and be ready. Not cynical, just realistic. If you know a person who always interrupts, don't expect a peaceful debate. If you know a friend who flips out under stress, don't expect them to be calm during finals week. Expect what they usually do, not what you wish they'd do. Why does this matter? Because it gives you power. You can prepare, set boundaries, adjust your response. You stop being surprised and start being strategic. Let's say your brother always gets defensive when you give feedback every single time. Instead of hoping this time will be different, you go in with a plan. You lead with calm. You pick the right moment, or you choose not to engage. And if he gets mad anyway, you don't flinch because you saw it coming. A good character, when established, is not easily overthrown. That's Seneca again. And it's a reminder your goal isn't to change the hot head, it's to become the kind of person their storm can't touch. Here's a question. What would your life feel like if other people's tempers didn't control your moods? What would you do differently? How much peace would that give you? You don't need others to change. You need to stop expecting them to let. Let's be honest, we've all been there on the receiving end of someone else's anger. But what about when we become the hot head, when stress piles up, when we snap at someone we love, when we say something we wish we hadn't, and the moment passes but the damage stays? A friendship gets strained. A kid starts to walk on eggshells. A relationship builds walls instead of trust. Anger doesn't just burn. In the moment, it leaves a mark. Seneca saw this too. Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. We think anger protects us, that it makes us strong, that it gets results. But most of the time, it just turns us into someone we don't want to be. The cost. People we care about stop feeling safe around us. We become hard to love, hard to trust. And maybe hardest of all, we become hard on ourselves. You can win the argument and still lose the connection. And no quote or strategy can undo a word said in fury. So how do we handle a hot head, whether it's them or us? Let's break it down first. Delay is power. The best cure for anger is delay. When someone is raging, step back. Pause, let the moment breathe. You don't have to fix it right away. You don't have to meet their energy. Just don't feed it second. Don't take it personally. We suffer more from imagination than from reality. Their anger is often fear dressed up as fire. See it clearly. You don't need to fight it or absorb it. Third, drop the expectations. No man is made unhappy by another's fault unless he has made it his own. Expecting people to behave better than they usually do, that's a setup for disappointment. Know their patterns. Don't be surprised and don't hand them your piece here. That's one thing you can do today. The next time someone tries to pull you into their storm, don't go. Pause. Ask yourself, what are they really afraid of? What do I actually need to respond to? If anything, give yourself space. And if you're the one who snapped, take ownership, not shame, just clarity. Because as Seneca says, it is a noble thing to be gentle. And the strong man is he who controls himself when he is angry. That's real strength. That's who you are when you stop letting their storm become your weather. So I'll leave you with this question. What would your life look like if you never let someone else's rage control your next move? Let me know in the comments. What's the hardest part for you, holding your cool or not taking it personally? And if this video helped you see things differently, consider subscribing. There's more like this coming.